let's talk about owner engagement for Google Map rankings and how being engaged with your Google business profile will help you move up the rankings over time and really start to accumulate traffic and more customers from your Google business profile. So I kind of want to go through this. I'm going to kind of go back and forth between this post just to kind of remind myself of everything. But yeah, let's talk about what increases your map ranking. So let's take a step back and let's look at this, I think, the best way possible. And I always find this is a good exercise, is to ask yourself, what does Google fear the most? Okay. So Google's biggest fear is that a customer will come to their platform looking for a solution and not find it. So that's probably comes in the form of two things with business, local business. One, a business that is out of business and they don't know it. Two, a business that isn't active, that doesn't answer their phone, right? And then I'll add a third one, which is just a bad business that isn't going to solve their problem, or the wrong business, right? Somebody who doesn't even do that, offer that service that the customer is looking for. So that's why, right? This is why with Google local map rankings, it's not this thing that can be exploited quickly, or that by doing the right thing for a couple weeks, you're going to get this giant benefit. This is why it takes time, because you're building trust with Google, not just on the scale of authority, but also on the scale of time, right? They want you to be proving yourself over a time period. They want to offer you a little bit more trust. They're going to give you a little bit more traffic. Then you're going to return that trust by doing a good job. That leads to reviews. And it's this cycle, right? So that Google can trust you enough to take care of their customers, because ultimately that's how they see this. They see this as their customers that they're sending to you, right? And they want to make sure that who they're sending this to is going to be able to perform what is necessary so that that customer can have a good experience with Google, who ultimately they care about, right? So that's the model. That's Google's fear. And so that's why we have to approach this in that way. So we want to prove to Google as much as we can. We want to give them all the information that we can, and we want to continue to update and give them that information so that they can continue to give us trust. And that means leads and customers, right? So how do we do this? Okay. So I think the primary first way that an owner should be engaged, and when I say owner, I don't actually mean the owner. Just think it means generally the profile should be engaged, right? So engagement, actions, activity on the Google business profile. So the first piece of this is just general optimization, right? So making sure that your name is correct, your address, your phone number, your website, all that's accurate, right? Making sure that you have your categories correct. I can't tell you how many people miss out on this, and it is a huge drop and huge loss to your business if you don't have the right primary and secondary categories on your profile, right? Having a really good quality logo and a cover photo, you get to choose the photo, the main cover photo on your business listing. So you want to make sure that that's good. And it's even potentially a good idea to switch this out and try different options, right? So that, and then your description, right? Your description, your business description, making sure it has the keywords, the city names that you serve, your service areas, all of that in your description. That is a huge piece of optimizing your profile and staying engaged, starting there with just the general information on the profile. So that's step number one. Okay. Now, how else can we be involved in our Google business profile? That comes to reviews. In my last video, we talked about getting reviews, responding to reviews, getting reviews regularly with good keywords in the reviews, responding to negative reviews, addressing your negative reviews, right? All that is a good way to show Google that you're involved and that you care about customers and continue to build that trust with Google and with your customers. Frankly, the reviews section is great for giving your customers information when they're looking to buy from you. Okay. Now we have staying updated, right? Keeping updated on your regular hours, your special hours, your holiday hours, right? Google tends to show businesses that are open. So if you're open on a holiday and your competitors aren't, and you're answering your phones, that could be a benefit to you that day, right? But staying updated also in the same way, if you're not answering your phone, right, and that's making customers angry, you don't want to have hours that you're not going to be answering your phone. And I think that just on a little tangent, make your hours typically for most businesses, especially like service businesses, make it the hours you're going to answer your phone, not the hours that you're open, right? Because even though you leave the office at 5, especially home services, no one's going to come to your office ever. So the hours there are for when you're going to answer the phone. So unless you have emergency, unless there's emergency searches like a plumber, emergency plumbing, HVAC, those tend to have emergency calls. So if you're not open for 24 hours to answer emergency calls, then don't. Otherwise, for most businesses, gutters, roofing, all of those, I find it best just to put you're open 24 hours, right? And most people won't call after 8. They're not going to call before 7. And if you can answer 95% of all the calls, you're going to get more calls, especially after hours. So that's a little tip there about the hours. But get all your hours correct stay updated on any holiday hours. Post regular updates, services, offers, announcements on your Google business profile. It's always best to post, probably about 2 times a week. I think that's a good amount to keep updates going on your Google business profile. Once again, just shows Google that you're active and you're engaged. And then add frequently asked questions. Go and answer any frequently asked questions, right? Update your services, update your products, right? That's, once again, Google's biggest fear is showing customers businesses that are not active. So just stay active, right? On your Google business profile. Photos are great. You want to put some keywords if you can into your photos, the cities, sometimes I'll even put the address. This kind of data is good for Google. But you update your photos as much as possible, put new photos in when you can. All that is really good information for Google. So, and then, a little bonus, I said add a video. A lot of business profiles right now, Google's showing the video next to the profile in all the searches, right? Especially on maps, that video just auto plays. So it's a great way to get your customers' attention by having a video. So stay engaged, stay regularly engaged. It's good to have somebody who's logging into your profile probably every other day, every 3 days, but often going in. And if you're getting reviews consistently, it kind of forces you to do that. So that's always nice. If you can automate your reviews, I think that's very important for most businesses to automate your reviews. But get in there, take some actions, right? That are going to be proactive, stay involved in your Google's business profile. And over time, you're going to start getting more traffic, more leads, more traffic, more leads. And that's how I beat 95%. You'll beat 95% of your competition just by being active. The other 5% comes from doing a really good job and then outdoing the top people in your local area. But you will start getting traffic and leads just by doing the basics. You will beat 95% of the people in your local area because they are not doing these things. And people quit doing these things all the time. So don't quit. That's what I got today. Appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow.